You know, the building is special because it's the last one left. You know, it's the Boston Garden, which I never played in the Forum. And then there's this building, and you know, this is the last one that holds all the memories and all the great players, and coming up the elevator shaft and thinking about Willis Reed, thinking about Jerry West and all the great rivalries that they had in this building. And just makes it very special.
I'll go right.
So the Knicks defense this season is going to have to carve out a brand new identity. And in their bounce back matchup against the Pacers, who didn't really shoot well from the field, I believe they shot 10% from three for the whole game. And at halftime only had 2 points from their top 3 perimeter players, which is crazy. But the Knicks communication and switching was more on point. Individual defensive performances by Josh Hart and OG Anunoby, as well as Karl-Anthony Towns, contributed. And right away, as soon as the game started, you could tell the defensive rotations was going to be different. Look at Karl-Anthony Towns hedges right away. And then everyone's going to begin to rotate. Check out OG right here. He does a great job. High instincts right here. Doesn't necessarily fully commit right here, as Miles Turner could have easily just baited him and then make the long pass to Pascal. But OG just waits, kind of sits on it, and disrupts the play. But very noticeable right away is Towns hedging instead of the typical drop back coverage that we've seen him play against the Boston Celtics. But I tell you what, Towns better be careful, because the media and the fan base, they will tear him up a new asshole if he does not put out his best effort out there. This is definitely not Minnesota. You ever see one of these virus movies where the zombies itching to transfer the virus from one body to the next? That's sort of the Julius Randle hate train. Now that he's gone, they're itching just like those zombies to transfer that algorithm from one person to the next. So Towns got to be on his P's and Q's. You can see more of the defensive adjustments the Knicks made. They got Sims hedging right here. Normally he would play drop back coverage like he did in the last game, just like Karl-Anthony Towns. But Tatum was able to go around that screen and just pull up on him. And now with him hedging like this, the roll man for the Pacers is not as well suited as the Celtics, because Tatum, in situations like this, he would dump the ball off to the person on the high post, and they would make the quick decision to get the ball out to the shooters on the weak side. But the Knicks defense right here, check out the recovery between Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges. They kind of get situated a lot faster, even though they gave up this 3 right here. But guys were definitely more attentive, and it was very noticeable right away. And here's the exact scenario of how it played out with the Boston Celtics. Sims, he hedges right on Tatum. So Tatum now, his job is to get the ball out to the roll man, Kornet, on the high post. And now Kornet, look at his decision making right here. For a second, he had Derek White open, but he chooses right here, Pritchard. So Celtics, man, they consistently got open looks throughout this whole game. Now right here, we're going to see a prime example of a team that loves to run with a bunch of cutters, play fast. They got guys who can shoot threes. Right here, this is supposed to be a screen on Towns after another screen for the pick and roll for McConnell to come down. But watch how it plays out. The screen on Towns doesn't happen. He ghosts it. And meanwhile, the original guy who put the screen for McConnell, he's rolling right now. So OG right now kind of peeps it, and they're going to see how it plays out. But look at Towns also. See, the original screener is right here. So he's rolling right now. And then the guy who set the second screen, he ghosted, and now he's popping out. So they're running multiple actions right here. So this is where communication is key. Sims and Bridges seem like they're in sync, but OG right here serving as the low man. He's recovered. So as guys kind of get in sync, the Knicks defense does get tested with multiple actions. As right here, we're going to see Kornet set a screen for Pritchard to come in. But Pritchard is really going through this screen to set another screen on McBride. And then when McBride tries to recover, Kornet's going to set another screen again. So this whole play right here is really for Derek White. We're going to see it play out. See Pritchard, he's setting the screen. And then Kornet is setting the screen on Bridges. And right now, Sims is in drop back coverage. So it's going to be hard for him to recover to the shooter. This is going to be quite an interesting build-up for this defense this season to see how they can, work on their chemistry. Because going up against teams like the Golden State Warriors, the Dallas Mavericks, Oklahoma City Thunder, the Phoenix Suns, these teams like to run multiple actions and they have multiple shooters. And of course, a duo of Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic out in Denver. This is going to be a nice year to see the Knicks' character development when it comes to their defense. Okay, so just looking at some extras about this defense. Notice how Towns is in a drop back. But this normally wouldn't work for the Celtics. This would work right here for the Pacers because Mikal is on Halliburton's heels. And Halliburton is not a player who likes to dribble the ball in tight spaces. So he's going to pick this up at some point. And also Turner ghosted this screen for the pop out. So Mikal wasn't completely caught on it. So he's right on Halliburton's heels. And Halliburton doesn't like to dribble in tight spaces. Notice how he quickly gives up his dribble. Josh Hart stunts in. And if you notice, Towns is pointing for Mikal to recover on Turner. Again, this defense is still developing. Guys are kind of getting the chemistry down. Mikal is not used to playing with a big in this type of coverage. And even for the rest of the Knicks team, this is a one hell of an adjustment to make defensively. Now, another thing that was very noticeable on this closeout right here is the verticality on the move by Karl-Anthony Towns. Look how he just completely gets beat. He doesn't really offer that much rim protection. And that plays exactly why OG serving as the low man and Bridges sometimes also serving as the low man, because these guys have great ability to block guys when they go up on the move. See right here? Check out Bridges. We're going to see Bridges be part of that action. You see? Even though that was all ball, he got called for the foul there. That verticality is what's supposed to back up Towns with the Knicks trading for him. Some of you fellas who understand who Karl-Anthony Towns is on the defensive end probably wondered why the fuck did the Knicks get him. And I believe it's because of the backup of these two, especially Mikal. A lot of people don't realize he does have a long reach. Pause before you Harlem cats get in the comment section. I know how y'all be, but it is what it is. And he has great anticipation when dealing with centers in the post, especially around those elbows. There is a history of him blocking guys much bigger than him. It's crazy that his verticality while chasing guys down to get the block is better than Towns. But Towns, when players are on the move, going vertical, trying to recover and block guys, sort of like how Mitchell Robinson does, he's not good at that at all. But Tibbs still has one hell of a job ahead of him. Right here, Towns in this pick and roll, drop back coverage. Brunson tries to recover. And just, they got a center who could shoot threes. This is a little bit way too open for my liking. The Pacers were cold throughout this whole game. They shot 10% from three. Kind of a reality check for this team who has a quote-unquote star that's more marketed as a star than what he really is. Tyrese put up donuts across the board, just having 0 points. I've never seen this for a quote-unquote superstar. But at the end of the day, the Pacers, they do have a play style in which this Knicks defense is going to have to make a lot of adjustments. A lot of off-ball movement, surrounded by a bunch of shooting. They have a stretch five in Turner. So this is a kind of roster where early on it's really good to judge the defense by what adjustments are they making. The Pacers still do play a modern style of basketball. But going back to Cat, just in this drop coverage right here, notice how this area that he has, while Cameron Payne makes the recovery, there's no pressure. Doesn't have an arm out, doesn't have an arm up. He's kind of lined up with his man, which is good, but there's no pressure right there. See this area? There's no pressure at all. And right now his jumping ability as well as his hands are not quick enough to defend the alley pass. A play like this is where Mitch would be effective. Just being right there to help out. In a similar setup as the Rudy Gobert role that Towns was with in Minnesota.